Is it hard to access affordable, healthy food? Then listen carefully. Daryl Addison, an African-American inventor, has patented a process for growing food on demand. He called it Torpedo Pot. Torpedo Pot is a fully automated flower pot that gives you control over your plant's environment. All you do is add soil, seeds, and plants to the flower pot and watch it grow. Yes, Torpedo Pot grows the rest. Visit www.torpedopot.com.
There's a lot of people that's moving abroad or even considering moving abroad. And, when I found out about what we're going to talk about today, it makes you shake your head about how this country wants to hold its citizens back from having a second address or even permanently going somewhere else. So it is surprising to a lot of people. They get confused about U.S. taxes. And they think leaving the U.S., as they're saying, to live abroad means you no longer pay taxes here. It's especially if you're paying taxes somewhere else. Now, they said that, however, the mere fact that you live abroad, even forever, does not mean that you ever avoid U.S. taxes or the annual filing of IRS returns. So you may be paying taxes in two places, to the IRS and your new country of residence. Say, in fact, if you want to stop paying U.S. taxes, you have to go a step further. It's a step that is not unheard of. As the official U.S. Treasury Department records show that in 2020 it set a record number of Americans who renounced their U.S. citizenship or gave up their long-term green cards. As a common reasons for renouncing can be family, tax, and legal complications for people who generally live outside the United States. It said there's an official list published quarterly, and the names of the fourth quarter of 2020 made the annual total of 6,707 people, a 237% increase from 2019. And so that may not sound like many, but the actual number of expatriates is often assumed to be higher. They say, with many apparently not counted. They say both the IRS and FBI track Americans who renounce. Now, that is interesting. They tracking the people who renounce? Why are you tracking people? Why? Let's think about that. So a person say, you know what? I'd have got me a new residence. I done got me a business here. I'm making great money here. I'm doing good. I'm not trying to pay y'all taxes. I don't want nothing to do with it no more. I'm done. And you're tracking them. That's interesting. Now, I say some renounce is right. Why they gave up the U.S. citizenship, but the tax considerations are often part of the equation. Say expats have long clamored for tax relief. It's adding fuel to the fire. The FATCA, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, it said this U.S. tax law was passed in 2010. It said and requires an annual form 8938 filed with the IRS if your foreign assets meets a threshold. 2010. That's during the time of Obama, and Obama signed it. Okay, so thank Barack Hussein Obama for doing that one. So the FATCA spans the globe with an unparalleled network of reporting, requiring foreign banks and governments to hand over bank data about depositors. And non-U.S. banks and financial institutions around the world must reveal American accounts, details, or risk big penalties. Some renounce because of the global tax reporting and FATCA. It said dual citizenship is not always possible, as this graphic is showing there. They said Americans, it's a global income. It said tax compliance and disclosure laws can be a burden, especially for U.S. persons living abroad. Americans living and working abroad must generally report and pay tax where they live, but they must also continue to file taxes in the U.S. where reporting is based on their worldwide income. It said a foreign tax credit often does not eliminate double taxes. It said there's an annual foreign bank account reports, as they call FBARs, that said they carry big civil and even potential criminal penalties. The civil penalties can consume the entire balance of the account. Ironically, even leaving America can be costly. To exit, you must prove 5 years of IRS tax compliance, and getting into IRS compliance can be expensive and worse. I'm say if you have net worth greater than $2 million or have an average annual net income for the past 5 years of $171,000 or more, you can pay an exit tax. And say it's a capital gains tax calculated if you sold your property when you left. They say a long-term resident giving up their green card can be required to pay the exit tax too. It says sometimes planning It said gifts, separate tax returns for married persons, and valuations can reduce or eliminate the tax. However, plan carefully and run the numbers. It says the tax worry can be real, say even for those who can sidestep the tax. Say a mere modest cost is administrative, as America charges $2,350 to hand in your passport, a fee more than 20 times the average, and say of other high-income countries. The U.S. hiked this fee to Renounce by 422%. It says previously there was only a $450 fee to Renounce and no fee to relinquish. Now there's a $2,350 fee either way. It said the State Department said raising the fee was about demand and paperwork. As to the tax rules of taxing most everything seems harsh. It said check out the IRS taxes lawsuit settlements. It said sometimes taxing twice and even taxing wildfire settlements. So let y'all know that American citizens, they want to hold you like plantation slaves. And also think about this. There's a lot of expats that's living in other countries, that's traveling. You open up a bank account in a different country. You have to tell the IRS everything that's in that foreign bank account. But you don't have to tell them what's in your bank account here. You understand what I'm saying? But they got to know what's over there, and the bank has to report. And if you don't report, from what people have told me, they can charge you half of the worth of that whole bank account. And like you said, also criminal penalties. The U.S. want to hold on to their citizens. They don't want to let you go. Now, they raised that fee to Renounce from $450 to $2,350. If more and more want to start leaving America, I can see them raising that thing up to $10,000 to Renounce. Because they want to keep having access to your money. They want to keep having access to everything that you have. I want you to see how it really is. And they tell you, well, if you don't like America, why don't you go back to Africa? They're not going to let you go back like talking about if you want to renounce. And the people that's renouncing, they already kind of got that planned up and what they want to do. Now, some people say, well, no, I want to keep paying my taxes. I want to keep doing whatever else. But if you haven't lived here in 10 years, why are you paying taxes on money that you made overseas? Now, if you're making money here, but you're living there, okay, that's a given. You already know that. But if you figure out a way to make money there, what if you made $10 million in another country? You got to pay taxes to America and you didn't even step foot in America to make the money? That's not right. That's not right at all. And the citizens should be speaking up about that, but most citizens don't know about that because a lot of them not thinking about moving abroad, but a lot of people are now. So this goes to anybody. You need to be talking to your senators and your Congress people and saying, hey, why in the hell are we having to pay all these taxes and we're not even living here anymore? What is that about? Now, I know Canada, they talk about their citizens, if they're not living in the country, they don't have to pay taxes. And that's how it should be. If I'm not generating income in the U.S., I should not be responsible for no taxes here. I'm not living there, right? But let me know what y'all think about that. You know, especially you black expats who are overseas. And some of you subscribe, say that you live overseas. How is that, with your situation with the IRS? And you got to watch the IRS too. Because I remember one time, I had got a letter from them and they said I didn't report $93,000. So like, what the hell? I was like, I report everything. Listen, I don't play with y'all. I don't play with the IRS. I tell them everything I got going on because I know what they'll do to black people. We be the first one they want to lock up, talking about tax evasion. Of course, I had my ducks in a row. Everything was, fine with that because, I got proof of everything. I don't delete anything when it comes to paperwork or anything like that. But, that's why I tell people, and what happened with that, with the double counting was at one point in time, I had payments going to PayPal when I used to be with the MCN. And I would move it from my PayPal to my bank account. Well, they counted what I reported and they counted that too, instead of saying that it was just a transfer. So I would tell people, don't send payments to PayPal like that and transfer it to your bank. Send all your stuff to your bank, which I would tell people don't use PayPal as a way to, for your main payments, because PayPal one day to the next to change and they can shut your account down. Now, if you want to get donations through PayPal, fine, but don't let nobody pay you for goods and services. Do that. Open you up a business account, preferably at a credit union. At a credit union. If you have to get a bank like Capital One, if you got one, or a local bank in your area. Don't use the Bank of Americas, the Wells Fargo's, the Chase. No, they're the worst of the worst. You can look at any financial advisor that will tell you that. Now, if you got your little money up, you want to do some investments, get your Charles Schwab account, things like that. But yeah, these people want to hold on to us, but you know what? That's not going to stop anything. I mean, okay, we know the game, whatever. You should be paying your taxes anyway, for 5 years. I mean, why are you not paying your taxes? And then, you want to renounce, you can renounce. Colonization never ended in the white supremacist system. And as we see today, the colonization is in the mind. Now, those who have been enslaved and those who have been colonized, we're still dealing with the remnants of that through the colonization of the mind. Pick up my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, and we will help deprogram you from the colonization that was put upon you by generations and generations of white supremacy. You can pick it up today on Amazon.com.